Regular expression matching, one of the hard Leetcode problems. Has this one kept you up late at night? So let's walk through this together. And in honor of this being a dynamic programming problem, we will break everything down into simpler subproblems to help you better understand this. So first, let's understand the problem. We're given two strings, S, which is our input string, and P is a pattern string that includes special characters like the star and the period. Our goal is to check if S matches the pattern P. Now, it's not just that simple. In our pattern P, the character period or dot matches any single character, very easy, while the star, on the other hand, matches 0 or more of the preceding element. Now that sounds a little bit tricky, but don't worry, we're going to be breaking it down step by step, like I said. Again, to solve this, we're going to be using dynamic programming, which is a method which solves these really complex problems by breaking them down into much simpler subproblems. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is to create a 2D array, DP. It is created with the length of S plus 1 rows and the length of P plus 1 columns initialized to false. Now you might be wondering why there's a plus 1 there, and that's simply to account for the empty string or pattern case. Now next, of course, we want to take care of the base case. If hypothetically they are empty, then if hypothetically they are both empty, then of course it will be true, and we could just go ahead and finish there. So now let's go through the process of what we do when there's one of those stars. So this loop here essentially handles patterns with those stars. If the star is found at P I minus 1, it sets DP 0I to the value of I minus 2. Now the reason for this is because a star can negate the character before it, effectively removing both the character and the star from consideration. And so now next we want to iterate over S and P. Essentially these nested loops go through each character of S and P to fill out the DP table. And now we have to take care of the situations where there's a dot, which is actually super easy. So if the current characters in S and P match, or if they're a dot, which could essentially match any character, then the current state inherits the state of the previous characters. So essentially you could just think of that dot as the 8 in that monkey game. What's it called? Crazy 8, that was it. But we're still not done with the star. So if P j minus 1 is a star, then there's two cases. First, there's 0 occurrences. The star negates the character before it, where the current state dp ij inherits from dp ij minus 2. Now on the other hand, if there's one or more occurrences of the star, if the characters before the star in P happens to match the current character in S, or if it happens to be a dot, the current state then inherits from dp I minus 1 j, which means the character before the star is considered in the match. And now finally, to handle the mismatch, if there happens to be one, then of course you want to set it to false. So if the current characters don't match and there's no special character like the period or the star, the current state is false because the strings can't be matched up to this point. And then finally, the value at dp, the length of S, and the length of P gives the result of whether the entire string S matches the pattern P. Basically, throughout all of these steps, the dp table is filled based on the characters in S and P, considering the special roles of the period and the star in regular expression matching. The final result is then obtained by looking at the last cell of the dp table, which represents the match status of the entire thing.